Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Amin Rabbil Alameen. So here we are with our session number 270 for Quranic Arabic grammar, in which we have been learning advanced surf and we were finishing our fail naqis. In the last session, you have seen how there are changes of haraka and the changes of letters and how this works in your naqis. And alhamdulillah, I hope you all were able to go through your slides before the session. If not in detail, but just briefly, you were able to go over the slides. If you have done so, type 1. Because alhamdulillah, Aisha, so you are here with me learning your surf, and based on the root letter, if your lamul kalima was a weak letter, you call it naqis. You have learned how you can divide it into two types. It can be naqis wawi, naqis yai, based on the last letter. If it was waw is your lamul kalima, you call it naqis wawi. If ya was your lamul kalima, you call it naqis yai. Can you see naqis yai coming from bab nasara? My first question for today's review: can you see naqis yai from bab nasara? Yes or no? No, right? Can you see naqis wawi from bab daraba? No, right? If I have to ask you, what are the two abwab that are seen that are going to be both in naqis yai and also naqis wawi? What are those two abwab that are common? One is Samia, Fataha. Very good job. Samia, Fataha are common. They are found in both Naqis Yai and Wawi, right? So Samia and Fataha, you find examples of those two in both types of your Naqis, right? And this was pretty simple, right? And then in case of when it comes to based on this information, if I give you a question that which bab is going to have in as-sulasi al-mujarrad is going to have kasra on ainul kalima, among the 5 abwab that you are going to find in your naqis, which bab is going to be having a kasra on ainul kalima? It's going to be daraba. So it's going to be daraba that is going to have ainul kalima, that is going to be with a kasra. Which abwab are going to have a kasra in the past tense form? In the past tense form, ainul kalima with kasra in the past tense form is going to be the Samia. So the Samia clan and your Daraba clan. Samia clan, very important thing that you learned about Samia clan in the last session, in case of what happens to the ainul kalima when it has babel jama'a. Do you all remember? For example, when I give you rodiya, and now the last one, what do you think? It's going to be radu. Very good job. It's going to be radu. Why so? Because your babel jama'a, when it is preceded by a letter with a kasra, the kasra of that letter changes into dhamma. It changes into dhamma because of the compatibility between kasra, between dhamma and the vav, right? Because dhamma is more compatible. So now you are going to change the kasra of this ainul kalima into dhamma. Is this clear to each and every one of you? Have you seen this slide? Does it make sense how you are going to go through different changes, like ilal bit taskin, iltaqai sakinain, and then you are going to have a dhamma. You will change this kasra of dod into dhamma because babul jama'a is going to be compatible with dhamma, right? In case when there is a kasra on the last letter, you change it with dhamma. The same thing is going to be happening to your bab daraba, when bab daraba, and when you have yahdiyuna, the same changes where when you come to the last stage where you are left with this form, this form, again you are seeing Waw al-Jama'a preceded by a letter with a kasra. What is going to happen to this kasra? It is going to get changed into Dhamma. I hope this was clear to all of you in the last session. And with the slides and everything, it's even more clearer that you are going to, how you're going to change this dal kasra into dal dhamma because of the compatibility, because there's compatibility between Waw al-Jama'a and the Dhamma itself. And Waw and Dhamma, they are more compatible, right? Now, if I ask you, give me Failul Amr Antum for Hadaya from Daraba clan. Failul Amr Hadaya, give me Failul Amr for this Hadaya in the Antum form. The Antum form. What will be the Antum form of Failul Amr? Ihdi is going to be the Anta Ihdi, right? Anta Ihdi. When you take it to Ihdu, very good job. Husne Ara is saying that I'm going to spell it like Ihdu. Ihdu. Husne Ara is going to tell me why I'm not giving my Hamzatul Wasal the Dhamma. Why not now I'm going to take away the Dhamma. So based on this, because the Dhamma of the Dal is not an original Dhamma, based on the Dhamma of the Dal was not an original Dhamma, you are going to give your Hamzatul Wasal still kasra in all these af'al that you see in Quran. And also anytime you are given a word from Daraba clan, and you have to make amar from that particular word, you should remember that in Antum form, when your Ainul Kalima is written with Dhamma, that Dhamma is Dhamma Arida. As per Tajweed, it is, and you call it Dhammatul Arida, and that is why you do not give your Hamza a Dhamma. Hamzatul Wasal gets a kasra because this is not an original Dhamma. If it was original Dhamma, it would, Hamzatul Wasal will take Dhamma. But since this was not an original Dhamma, here your word is going to be read with, kasra, right? Your Hamzatul Wasal is going to be read with kasra. I hope this was clear to each and every one of you. And that was basically the whole concept I wanted you to be aware of, and I have done some of the work for you, and you can do the same thing. If you have any word from that comes from Daraba clan and you are asked even the word that has not been mentioned in Quran, like ihdu, I don't think we find the example of that in Quran, but still, if you ever come across those words, you should know how to read them based on the Dhamma being not the original Dhamma, and the word being from your Daraba clan. So I hope this all was very clear by now. This should be very clear to you all, that how you end up with the a and the at and all these examples of huma. And there was an additional information when it comes to huma, the ata. Remember, your tai tanis originally was sakin. Do you all remember that when we were learning our field Madin? I taught you at that time, for those of you who were with me from the beginning of the course, they have learned it at that time, that how this ta is the same ta as in Nasarat, but when it is followed by alif. So now two sakins came together, and now the first sakin has to get a haraka, and the haraka that goes with alif, which haraka is compatible with alif? Fatha goes with alif. So you give ta the fatha. So that is why, this alif, this is not the avata. The avata is not a possibility. It is actually changed. Waw is changed. There is a rule of qalb applied. Waw changes to alif. And then when the two alif and the ta sakin come together, the first one goes away. You are left with this word. And then this ta sakin gets a haraka because of the rule of iltiqai sakinain. The first sakin gets a haraka, and the haraka is going to be fatha, since it is compatible with alif. So this is how this is going to work. And now I think as-sulasi al-mujarrad should be clear to all of you, alhamdulillah. So let's just continue our journey with of mazid fihi. So in mazid fihi, what you're going to learn is you are going to have the same changes you have seen before. So zakka coming from zai kaf waw, zai kaf waw. Now what happened to waw? Are you seeing waw anymore? Do you see waw there? No. Why so? What did we apply to the waw? What happened to the waw? The waw has undergone a change and it is ilal bil qalb, right? Because it was preceded by a fatha, waw got changed into alif, right? Zakka, you are going to call it, not you are going to not say zakkawa, you are going to say zakka, zakka. In case of yuzaki, yuzaki, it was originally yuzakiyu, right? Yuzakiyu. Which rule do we apply here? There are two changes that have happened here now. Now the waw is going to get changed into, there is a changing of the waw. First, there is going to be a change of the waw into ya, and there is, there is because of compatibility. See, waw is not compatible with kasras. Which is what is compatible with kasra? Ya is compatible with kasra. And when ya is there, it's not only going to change into ya, but it also, yeah, because of the rule that you have, that if ya is madmoom or maksur, ya is madmoom or maksur as in a lamul kalima and is preceded by a letter that is with a kasra or a dhamma, your ya and waw, your ya and waw, take a sukoon upon themselves, and this is what you see in here. Remember, in case of masdar for family 2, in case of masdar for family 2, you will find it in case of nakis on a pattern of taf'ilatan. Taf'ilatan. Taf'ilatan will be the masdar pattern. Instead of taf'il, what do you see? Taf'ilatan. Have you seen any sahih word with on this pattern in a surah that we have covered? Anyone remembers a surah that we have covered in which we found a word which was on taf'ilatan pattern? Do you remember Surah Taha? In Surah Taha, we have word tazkiratan. So at that time, and in your, if you go back to your basic Nahu notes, I have that a pattern for you in your notes as well. In your basic Nahu, not in advanced Nahu, not in irregular in case of your basic Nahu, I also gave you this pattern taf'ilatan in there too. So if you happen to go back to your notes, you will find that masdar pattern in your notes as well. So in here you are noticing, instead of taf'ilan, you are seeing taskiyatan or taf'ilatan, okay, because the word your masdar is going to be on this pattern. Is this clear? You will find your masdar to be on taf'ilatan pattern in case of family 2 when it is nakis. You may also find sahi examples of that as well. The sahi is taskiratan is a sahi field, right? There is no weak letter in taskiratan, but you still find the spellings as taskiratan, as taf'ilatan, right? Because there is a possibility that family 2 tafbab taf'il also has a masdar on that pattern as well. So when it comes to your ism file, it's very simple, straightforward. It's going to be spelled as muzakkin. Muzakkin. Is this clear? That instead of muzakkiyun, you are going to find it as muzakkin, right? And your waw is going to just change into ya when it is in the mansoob form. This ya will appear muzakkin, muzakkiyan, muzakkin. Okay, so and you are going to refer to this table here. You are going to refer to this table here of some file. So the same changes in here. Remember, your waw gets changed into ya. So if you can just focus on hadiyun table, it's going to make things easy for you. So muzakkiyun, just open it up like hadiyun, and then again you are going to make your ya sakin. And ya, when it is sakin, and you will apply the rule of iltaqai sakinain, and then you will be left with had muzakkin instead of muzakkiyun. Are you with me? This is easy for you for so far? Alhamdulillah, no issues. So we can move forward. I do not have to add more slides. I hope we can we should be able to finish this off, inshallah. So in zukiya is going to be the zukiya is going to be the passive form for zakka. Zakka, the passive form is zukiya. The fail mudare majhul is going to be yuzakka. Tazkiyatan, muzakkan is going to be your ism maf'ul. And ism maf'ul, the same thing that you have seen happening in your maf'ul, you are going to, the same, pretty much the same things you are going to, you should be able to apply on muzakkan. Okay. And in case of your fail madin, it's easy. What will happen in case of nakis? What is one main thing that you will see when it comes to fail madin or mudare majzoom? Which rule of ilal gets applied there? So Zaki and hazf, right? Ilal bil hazf. Because now that we are doing our um, surf, so what is important for us to what important terms we need to use are what pertains to the surf, right? And ilal bil hazf, bil qalb, bil taskin. These are the important terms that we have to use when we are doing our nakis. And in here you are seeing the ya gets or waw gets dropped, and la tuzaki is the majzoom form of the fail mudare, where again you are seeing hasfe harf illa. And your just like in your regular fail family 2 is ism maf'ul and zarf, the same pattern. The same pattern is used for ism maf'ul and zarf. The same thing you are going to apply in here as well. Okay. Then when it comes to your bab if'al, have we ever come across ata, yuti, ta'an in Quran? Do you find similar words in Quran? Alhamdulillah, there are examples of that in Quran. So the same thing is going to be seen. You will see rule of qalb, you will see rule of iskan. And then again, when it comes to the masdar, islaman, ta'an. What is happening to the waw? What is happening to the waw? Waw got changed into hamza, and this rule we have covered it very many times, right? When the waw and ya are at the end of the word and after alif zaida, they get changed into hamza, right? You have covered that rule with me. And then ism file is going to be motin. So again, meme dhamma is there, and this is going to be your giveaway for big family. In here, meme dhamma is there, and there is a shadda, that is a giveaway for your family number 2. In here, meme dhamma is a giveaway for your big family, and you do not see any other letter in addition. You don't see any other letter in addition. Just like in word Muslim, do you see anything in addition? Hamzatul qata, do you find it in Ism file? You do not. And same way, you are not going to be able to finding it in case of Ism file of nakis. You are just going to find your word as motin. Okay. And the same changes that you have covered before are going to be happening with your madin majhul. You are going to utiya, yuta, ita'an, motan is going to be the maf'ul. And this is something that you have to memorize. Something, if you have, despite understanding the whole concept, it is very important that you memorize your tables as well. If you don't memorize and just understand, it's not going to work, right? Just mere memorizing might work for you, but understanding and memorization is preferred. But without memorizing everything, you are going to be way behind the rest of the class. I'm giving you this at this time. You will not be able to pass a test. I'm telling you right now that this is not something that you can say, oh, I will memorize my tables towards the end. No, it's not going to happen. You have to practice it, memorize it, write it down very many times. Then fi'lul amr, ati, la tu'ti, and motan is going to be the ism zarf. And again, maful and zarf, as in big families, are the same. When it comes to your family 5, takhalla, yatakhalla, mutakhallin. those are the same things that we have covered before, right? تخلي, يتخلى, متخلًا, we have covered that before. تخلى, لا تتخلى, متخلًا, we have covered that. In case of masdar, you are noticing your ainul kalima in the regular masdar, tafa'ul, has which haraka? It has a dhamma, right? It has a dhamma that you see. In case of, and let's just do 5 and 6 together, it's going to make things easy. In case of bab tafa'ul, the same thing is there, right? Ainul kalima has a dhamma. Tafa'ul, ain has a dhamma, right? But when it comes to your nakis, you will find your nakis like this. In nakis, your ainul kalima will have a kasra. Takhalliyan, takhalliyan, and ta'aliyan. Okay, is this clear to all of you? That your ainul kalima is going to get a kasra, in case of masdar of 5 and 6, and no longer going to be written with dhamma. Okay, so if there is, why so? Because if waw is the waw in the lamul kalima of the ism, which is preceded by dhamma, if there is a waw in the lamul kalima of an ism which is preceded with dhamma, it changes into ya. It is going to change itself into ya, and dhamma changes into kasra. Remember, what is compatible with ya? Is dhamma compatible with ya or kasra compatible with ya? It is kasra which is compatible with ya, right? So ta'alluvun was the, what was you expecting, right? Ta'alluvun, right? Or tu'alluwan was something you were expecting, or tu'alluvin was something you were expecting, but you don't see that. What happened here is, because the waw is the lamul kalima preceded by a dhamma, waw changed itself into ya, and the haraka of ain, the haraka of ainul kalima got changed into kasra, right? This is only going to happen when waw is a lam kalima and is preceded by dhamma. In here, waw is going to get changed into ya, and the dhamma of the ain kalima is going to get changed into kasra, and then the whole thing goes on. Ta'alliyun, ta'alliyun. You see how you're going to open up this tanween? You can open up this tanween, and this is what I did on my slide. I opened this tanween up. I'm going to apply rule of iskan, because my ya was mutaharrik preceded by kasra, and the haraka of ya was dhamma. So I can, and when it is dhamma or kasra preceded by dhamma or kasra, I can change the haraka of the ya. Ya can drop its haraka, and this is what happened here. Ya dropped its haraka, and the rule of iskan got applied. And then when two sakins came together, one sakin has to go away, and which is the weak letter goes away, ta'allin, and I can write this ta'allin as ta'allin. Can you all see that? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Is this I hope everyone is with me on that. And then the same thing, why waw change into ya? Because you are going to change, it changes into ya, and the dhamma, you can just understand it as a rule for your you notice it, in your big families, you will notice waw is going to get changed into ya. Most, you will find, your waw changes into ya, and this is how things work in for the most of the nakis in mazid fihi, right? In mazid fihi, you find that waw changes into ya, basically. Okay, but this rule gets applied on other cases as well. This rule is not just here. Do you know, I'm going to show you one example which is very commonly seen in Quran, and this is you must understand this, okay? Before, because it's not just one bab of big family, or tafa'ul. The same rule gets applied on broken plural patterns and other isms as well. So I'm going to show you that example as well once I'm done with this. So the same thing, ta'aluvun, you are going to open this up, you are going to make the same changes to the ta'alubun. Ta'alubun is going to get changed to ta'aliyun, and then you open things up and you are going to be left with ta'alin. Everyone with me so far? How you're going to end up with ta'alin? And in here at this stage, I think for those of you who have never memorized and are not used to they just stay where they are and they take their own sweet time. It's important, it's incumbent on each and every one of them to up their game and to just start memorizing these tables, because not just understanding but memorizing the table is going to make a lot of difference here. So I'm going to show you one thing here. Let me before I take you to the next one, I'm going to come back to this rule as well. Husne Ara, I think it was Sister Husne Ara, I'm going to show you this rule applied to another word, which is very, very commonly used in Quran. Now, when you look at your Bab in Fial, it's very straightforward, very simple. You are going to Anmaha, Yanmahi, Inmiha'an, Fahuwa Munmahin, right? Again, your is a mankus. The words that are ending with these kasra are called kasratain are called is a mankus. And what is mankus? What is the root letter for mankus? Is a mankus. What is the root letter for mankus? Noon, qaf, sod. So they mankus means what? Mankus means what? If it's a mankus, what does it mean? That they are coming from nakis, right? They have been the words that have that in are they have weak letters as their lamul kalima. They are the words, they are the asma that have weak letters in their lamul kalima. Is this clear? What is mankus? What is this a mankus? And where do you get this word from? Yes, munmahin, because these are the words, all these words, what are the root letters? Mim, ha, waw, zai, kaf, waw, this ain, ta, waw, ain, lam, waw. So you notice how there's a weak letter, and the same, and now this ism file is this ism file is called ism manqus, because the word is all families. Yeah, you are going to apply this pretty much the same rules. You are going to apply whatever you have learned before, you're going to apply here. You basically the elal bil qalb, elal bil hasb, elal bil taskeen, you are applying in here, isn't it? That you are using the same rules and you are just applying it, and you are just now since we have practiced it enough on our sulasi al mujarrad, we are not going into detail in like ta'ala. Where do I get this word ta'ala from? The wow, all think about your wow is going to get changed into ya, and then if there is a wow and ya preceded by a fatha, what happens to wow and ya? Wow and ya are going to get changed into alif, right? Waw and ya change into alif when preceded by a fatha. When there is a kasra before waw and ya, when there is a kasra before waw and ya, there is going to be a change of waw into ya. Waw gets changed into ya, and that is how you get your tuliya, right? Tuliya or utiya, because there was a kasra, wow gets changed into ya. There was a kalb rule that you just did in the last session, how that if there is a kasra before du'iya and rudiya, all those words, right? So rada, when I have to change word rada into a passive form, what will be the passive form for rada? Though the root letters are raw, dod, wow, what will be happening? Rudiya, right? Because there was a kasra on the letter before, wow changes into ya, and this is how your passive is spelled like. And the same thing, the same rudiya rule you are going to apply on all the same is being applied here. You are seeing the yas coming back. You're seeing the yas instead of wow, and you're seeing them written with a haraka in your passive, right? So in Mahaan, there are not many example of this, but what you need to again keep in mind is how what changes are going to take place in your waw and ya when they are written after alif, when alif zaida. In case of your bab iftial, which is family eight, we are noticing this is tafa, just tafi. Like these words, do you see anything different from what we have been covering so far in what is tafa? Are we noticing anything different? Much different? You have covered that how waw and ya when preceded by fatha get changed into alif. How if there is a waw for the letter before has a kasra, it can have a you. It's going to be, there is a compatibility thing you are going to apply, and also there is a rule of iskan that gets applied in case of masdar. Again, it's easy, and in case of ism file, which is in rough form and in jar form, you will find it as it's going to spell the same. Mustafin is going to be rough form of that, and Mustafin is going to be the jar form of the word as well. In case of ism maf'ul, you are going to find it just written with this alif maksura, Mustafan, right? Mustafa, Mustafa, right? Is this clear so far? Now what you have to do is what you have covered before, you just apply it in here. Okay. And in case of your wow families, when you have wow, you have also, this is it's we still, I'm sorry, doing our nakis babi. In when you see it in the bab 10, is there any confusion? Is ta'ala, yes, ta'ali, is ta'laan, anything that is new to you that you have not covered before? Everything we have covered, right? We have gone over each and every word, how we can, find it in Quran, or what changes take place, and how, when waw and ya are preceded by fatha, ya waw and ya preceded by kasra, and when they themselves have a dhamma, then waw and ya after alif, right? So we have covered all this, and then again you are going to see the same ism maf'ul and ism zarf, but just what is added here, you are just noticing that the harfain, that mazid harfain are being added. From mutin, you go to from mutin, muzakkin, musta'alin, muta'alin, stuff like that, right? Mustafin, um, and muta'alin and mutaradin, only your additional parts, whatever is a family mazid by has been added, but the end is the same, the endings are the same, right? So in case of for example, I'm just showing you family 5, for example. Do you find your ta and doubling of ainul kalima? You see it there, right? Ta and ainul kalima got doubled up. In case of tafaul, you see your ta and alif. In case of your family 7 or bab infial, you are seeing your additional noon. In case of family 8, you are noticing your ta, which got changed into ta in your in case of family 8, right? So everything is pretty much the same, but the endings, you know that there is a meme dhamma, there's a meme dhamma, additional letter after your first root letter. However, the ending is, because it is a manqus, now you are finding kasratain in case of your ism in rough form and in your jar form as well. Okay. So basically, this is what you need to know, that Mustafin, Mustafiyan, Mustafin is going to be the form that you are going to find in your ism file. Okay. So then when it comes to your Nakis Yai, have you seen this word? Aghna, Yughni, Ighna'an. Everything from Aghna until Ighna'an, everything is easy. Everything is easy. But when it comes to Mughniyun, Mughniyun is not going to be possible. Your mughniyun is going to get changed into mughnin. Your mughniyin is going to again get changed into mughnin. And how it's going to change into that? You already have learned that in your in here when you were covering your ism file of your nakis from family one, right? In family one, you have covered it. You can open it up the same way. Mughniyun, you do the same thing. You make it just like hadiyun. You just make it like that, mughniyun, and then do the same taskeen, hasb, and you will be left with mughnin. Okay, same process. And then when it comes to your family number, okay, this we have covered. And then in case of laqqa, yulaqi, talqiyatan. Any change that you're noticing? Pretty much the same. But there is one thing that you are noticing in Masadar of family 2. Do not forget that taf'ilatan. The masdar is on the pattern of taf'ilatan. Everyone, you notice that? How your masdar is on the pattern of taf'ilatan, right? Taf'ilatan. Talqiyatan. Instead of, taf'ilan, no longer taf'ilan. It is talqiyatan, taf'ilatan, right? You are finding your taskiyatan, right? You are no longer finding taf'il pattern, you are finding taf'ilatan pattern. Okay, and we just covered it, right? And when it comes to nakis yai family 3, laka yulaki, is this hard to understand that how this word is nakis? Is you do If I show you this word in Quran, laka yulaki, will you not be able to tell me that this is family 3 nakis? What do you think? Isn't it? You should be able to tell me, right? You are just going to find your additional letter after the first root letter, which is alif, and you just are going to see the same changes you have already covered in as-sulasi al-mujarrad. You are going to apply the same things here. Okay, liqa'an, liqa'an sounds like what? Give me the masdar of family 3, the first masdar, other than mufa'alatan. What was the other masdar? Fi'alan, right? Fi'alan or jihadan. Most of the people have learned it from like fi'alan. So liqa'an, can I not apply the rule of qalb here? Right? I have to apply rule of qalb here. If I asked you harf nida, we just harf nida, we call it harf nida. But when it is written down, it is written down nida'an, right? Nida'an. So if I show you nida'an, can you, does it sound like just the masdar of family 3, liqa'an, right? Nida'an, right? The same change happened there, right? Nothing is different, right? In case of mulaqatan, when you have mulaqatan, lam, qaf, ya are the root letters. So if there is a ya and that is preceded by a fatha, what will happen to that ya? Ya preceded by a fatha, which is you just change into alif, right? And this is again there is a rule of qalb. I will add that in here as well, that how the rule of qalb is happening in mulaqatan as well, where ya was preceded by a fatha and got changed into alif. Simple, right? In here it just changes into alif, right? Right? It is just changing into alif. Okay, now the next one, tamanna, yatamanna. Again, when it comes to the masdar of 5 and 6, because they were with Dhamma, and the lamul kalima was wawud ya, waw or ya. What you are going to just, waw gets changed into ya, and ya, basically the waw gets changed into ya, and there is a ya. So is Dhamma and ya more compatible, or kasra or ya more compatible? What do you think? Kasra and ya are more compatible because your last letter is anyways here ya. So you are going to change the ma of noon Instead of tamannuyan, you are going to tamanniyan is going to be more easy to be pronounced, right? And there's a compatibility between ya and kasra. So the ainul kalima, the dhamma of ainul kalima in here, it has changed into kasra of ainul kalima. It is written with kasra. And the same thing you are going to find in case of um, family number 6. The same thing is going to happen, right? In there also you find ain with dhamma, it is going to change into kasra. Okay. In case of iftial, ishtiba, yashtabi, ishtibaan, mustabin, any problem, any difficulty in understanding this family? Do you think it's the same things that we have been covering before? You're going to apply the same rules. Okay. And in case of your mazid fihi bab istifal, the very important family used in Quran, because when once a family is used in Quran, it is very important to understand it deeply, right? So istaghna, yes, yastaghni, istighnaan, any all those changes you have covered, right? You have covered how the words are undergoing the change, right? The ya was preceded by a fatha, you it changes into alif. Ya was mutaharik with the dhamma, and the letter before had a kasra, it is going to be taking a sukoon upon itself. When ya or waw come after alif zaida, they at the end of the word they get changed into hamza. Mustaghnin, the same rule, the same thing that mustaghniyun instead of mustaghniyun. Mustaghnin is easy, and mustaghnin in rafa and jar form, and in case of nas form, ya is going to be written. Mustaghniyan is going to be, you will find your ya back in nas form. Okay. So did I go too fast today? Because I wanted to keep some time for our practice as well, so that I know that how I can, and I can figure out if you are able to um, understand everything, because I have already spent I think quite a bit of time, which usually I don't see it being spent, and I'm not um, um, disqualifying everyone, or making anyone else smaller than myself. By no means that's the intent. It's just, I'm just we spent quite a bit of time here. So let's just see one more word that you see all the time in Quran. And keeping this um, uh, rule in mind, and keeping the rule of ya in mind, you have this word in Quran, which is when and anyone remembers the um, broken plural for yadun? Very good job, Rabia. Yes, it is going to be aidiyan or aidin, right? Aidin or aidiyan, right? In its which form, in its let me see. Okay, so let's just start. This word aidi, aidin, is on the pattern of af ulun. Af ulun. Have we ever covered af ulun pattern in our broken plurals? Is af'alun been taught as a broken plural pattern? If you remember in your numbers, I have taught you a few patterns that are jamakillah. Okay, they are broken plurals, though 43 patterns of broken plurals are jama kasra. This one af'ulun, fi'latun, and there is af'alun, amalun one. Those are the ones that are jama killa pattern. Rest all broken plurals are the greater plurals or a bigger plurals. So af'ulun is one of the pattern. This word, broken plural for yadun is af'ulun, aidin on the pattern of af'ulun. So if I make it af'ulun, so what is happening here? Aidu, no, it's going to be aidu yun, right? Aidu yun. Let's just make it big so you can also see what is happening on your screens, right? Aidu yun, easy for now. So Aidu yun, if you have something like this, What should I do to the seeing the same thing? Ya, the letter before has a dhamma. What should I do? Should I change the to make it compatible? Should I change the dhamma of dal into kasra? What do you think? I will change it. Okay, Aidi yun. Okay. Now the next step that Sister Zarina just mentioned, I will open up my tanween. I will love to open up my tanween. Okay, I will write it like this. Aidi yun. Easy. I am going to now do the rule. What rule is now going to be applied? My ya is carrying a dhamma, or if it is carrying a kasra, we'll do it with kasra too. Okay, I will now make it. I will now make my ya sakin, because I have covered that in my course, that if there is a ya that has a dhamma or a kasra preceded by a letter with a dhamma or a kasra, it should take a sukoon, right? When two sakins come together, one goes away, right? As Aisha has typed, that one is going to go away. So let's just take away one sakin, and the first one first one usually goes away. So I'm going to take away this ya, and now what am I left with? Aidin, right? The weak one goes away. Very good job. And now can I write it like this? Aidin. Right? Does it make sense? How you are going to be left with this word? The same thing when you have a ya with a kasra. When there is a ya with a kasra, can I apply the same changes? Can I apply the same changes there? What do you think? Can I apply the same changes there? And I'm going to be left with the same thing, like up until here, yun, yin is going to be the same, right? Yun, yin, right? The same. Let's just insert a row below. Okay. Now, when it is ya with a fatha, when the ya is with a fatha, can I apply iskan to that ya that is with a fatha? I cannot. I cannot. Right? When I have a ya with a fatha, I cannot. So that is why when in Quran you have a ya with a kasra, when there is a ya that is going to be with a kasra, you will see you will find it as aidin. But if ya is with a fatha, if ya is with a fatha, you will find it as aidiyan, right, Shamim? Shamim has already typed for you, right? Is it clear to all of you? Alhamdulillah. You are going to find it as aidiyan, because the same, because iskan cannot apply in case of aidiyan with a ya that has a fatha, but in case of ya with a kasra, the same rule can get applied, right? And you are going to be aidiyin, and then sakin, make it sakin. So again, aidin, but aidiyan, if you change this into a fatha, is if I change this ya into a fatha, I'm not going to go any further. I will not be able to go any further. I'm just going to write it like IDyan, right? I don't need to even do anything to it. Okay? I just have to, because there is a tanween, fatha tanween. What do I have to write after fatha tanween? When you have a fatha tanween, you have to add an alif, right? That is where your all the alifs are coming from, right? Why you are seeing alif at the end of words that are ending with fatatain? Because this alif goes after whenever you have a fatatain, what it is followed by? It is followed by alif. Do you know that? In writing, you will bring in an alif anytime your word is ending with a fatatain, right? Is this clear to all of you? Why you are seeing an alif, an alif, an alif after every fathatain, despite all the rules being applied? Because after the fatatain, you have to add an alif, right? In writing, you have to add an alif. Is this clear to all of you? And then I don't even need to IDN in here. I don't need to open everything here. I can stop here. I can just stop right here, because I just have to make this change, that from I do yan. So how difficult it is, how sakil it is on tongue. Instead of IDN, it's so easy, it flows, right? Because of the compatibility between kasra and ya. Are you all with me on that? Alhamdulillah. So you don't need to take any different steps. You just come from here. If you can just come from this step, I do yan, I do yan. If you can just I do yan, you are just going to change your the kasra of the dal into a compatible haraka. You are going to change the dhamma of the dal into kasra. Okay, just change the dhamma of the dal into a kasra, and you are done. Easy. And if I ask you, is aidin is a mankus? Yes or no? Its root letters are ya, dal, ya. It is a mankus. So when you conjugate it, it conjugates like that. Okay. Is this clear to all of you, how you are going to bring these changes to word aidin, which is on pattern of ulun? Alhamdulillah. Okay, now let's just go to Quran and take few examples and then see if we have really understood our irregularities, because you are just left with one irregularity, which is your Alhamdulillah, we are just left with lafif, right? Alhamdulillah. So in Surah Al-Fatiha, do you find from in these 7 verses that the surah, which is Ummul Quran, do you see any naqis? Any naqis? Can somebody point out any naqis in here? Let me enlarge it. Idi. Idi. So if I asked you, give me the family of Idi. Daraba family. And if I ask you, can this be from Nasara family? Can this be from Nasara? It can never be from Nasara family, right? Because Naqis Yai comes from Daraba, right? It's going to be Naqis Yai that comes from Daraba. So this is simple. And now you know the root letter can be only and only Hadaya. Is this clear to all my students, that you can never make it come from Nasara or any other clan? Because now you know that root letters are only Hadaya. You have narrowed it down. Now, real quick, give me a word from that is mudaf. Give me a mudaf in this surah. Where is a mudaf? Mudaf. With the same Ainul Kalima and Lamul Kalima. Huh? Nahi. Mudaf. Dalina. Right? Right? Dalina is your mudaf, right? Dod, lam, lam. Do you remember what has happened in this word? Do you remember what changes took place in this word? Mudaf, 5 rules. Anyone remembers? Which rule got applied here? The two same, two identical, fa'ilun, two identical. The first one, it's rule number, I think, 3. The first one, both mutaharik, da'ilun, dalilun, both mutaharik, right? Dalilun, because the first mutaharik was preceded by a weak letter, alif, so it just took upon itself a sukoon and got merged into the second one. So it's rule number 3 that you have covered in your mudaf, right? The 5 rules, among the 5 rules that we have covered, in here there is only iskan, there is only the first letter took a sukoon, there is no naqal, and then there is iskan, and the first letter took a sukoon and dropped it saraka, and then there is a rule of idgham that got applied. Now tell me, is there any word that is ajwaf in here in the surah? How many ajwaf are you finding in the surah? The first is mustaqim, mustaqim, and not the first one. Yes, there are two words that are ajwaf, that literally from ajwaf. I'm just, the af'al that are ajwaf, okay, that you can put in any family. Don't talk about, those words that are jamid, that are non-surfable. We are going to talk about those words that are surfable, okay, that you can do a surf on. And surfable words are nasta'in, like, right, we can do the surf of this word. Ista'ana yasta'inu is, right, ista'anatan fahuwa musta'inun, right? Mustaqimun. And ain, waw, noon were the root letters for nasta'in. Qaf, waw, mim were the root letters for mustaqim. In here, you notice which rule is being applied on both these words. Which rule are you seeing in here? What are the rules that have been applied on these words? So start from nasta'inu. Nastaghfiru. So there was a nakal. Very good job. There was a nakal, and then there was a nakal and kalb, or and for any the letter got changed into a letter that was more compatible. Nakal and kalb has been applied to nasta'in. Mustaqbimu. Again, you can say nakal and kalb got applied in here, right? Nakal and kalb got applied in here. Mustaqbimu, waw gave its haraka to qaf, and waw got changed into ya, which is kalb, right? The movement of haraka from one letter to another, nakal. Changing of one letter into another letter is qalb. Easy? In case of ihdi, that is your nakis. In case of, you have three irregularities that you are seeing here. Your word iya, it's a pronoun. It has iya. Remember, you have covered it when you were covering your advanced nahu. You have learned it as a damir munfasil, mansoob. Damir, right? It's a pronoun. And when it comes to your pronoun, it's not something like a surfable word. You don't consider it as like a surfable word. Okay. Some of them, some of the words are surfable, and others are going to be just, non-surfable. Okay. So let me take you to the next page. In case of, okay, in here, give me mahmouz. Give me a mahmouz. You only have 2 minutes left. The page yu'minuna, mahmuzul fa, is seen in family number 4. Very good job. Hum amana yu'minu. Amana yu'minu imanan fahuwa mu'minun. Very good job. Now I'm going to ask you, give me misal. Give me misal in these words. And most of you, alhamdulillah, are very smart and they have learned the root letters. So give me a misal. Hi Nani, that is nafaka is a regular word, it's a sahih word. It's not any irregularity. No, that's a sahih word. Give me misal in this 5 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. Do you find any misal? Misal is a fail that has foul kalima. Foul kalima as a weak letter. So in here you have pure misal, not not a combo. Give me a pure misal. The pure misal in here is yuqinuna. Yuqinuna. Right? Yuqinuna is a pure misal. Pure misal means that there is, when I say pure, you will find words where you will find mahmuz and nakis together. You will find mahmuz and ajwaf together. You will find mahmuz and mudaf together. You are going to learn that after we finish off our lafif. We are going to, go on to learn combinations as well in the words. But when I say pure, pure means that there is just only misal. Misal, ya, qaf, noon is going to be a pure misal, right? Yuqinun coming from yaqeen. Ya, qaf, noon are the root letters. and this is misal yai. But what happened in here? What happened to misal yai? Do you see any change, any elal in here? Yuqinuna. Why is it not you are not finding your ya anymore? The ya got changed into wow. The rule of qalb got applied because the letter before ya had a dhamma, so it changes into more compatible letter, which the letter that is compatible with dhamma, so it got changed into wow because of the compatibility reason. Word is coming from family number 4, right? You all understand this so far, that how this word is coming from family number 4? Hmm? In here, you do you see any ajwaf? Any ajwaf in these 5 verses? Any ajwaf? Yukimuna, very good job. What is applied to yukimuna, Shamim? So originally, yukvimuna was the form. Yuslimuna, family 4, right? Family 4, yukvimuna. You are noticing there are rules of elal being applied to the word. There is a nakal, and then after nakal, you find a kalb. Very good job. Very good job. And then raiba, if you consider it as a masdar from family 1, is another ajwaf, right? And if I ask you, what type of ajwaf is this? Is this ajwaf wawi or yai? You should be able to answer it that this is my ajwaf yai, right? In here, al-muttaqina, al-muttaqina is the root letters are waw, qaf, ya. What have we learned about waw, qaf, ya? Should we consider it? How will we place it? How will we place waw, qaf, ya? It is going to be lafif, and we have not covered it yet, right? So we'll cover it with lafif, inshallah. I think we already are 3 minutes ahead of our time, so I'm going to end the session here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How many of you have taken the test on vows? Type 1 if you have done. Very good job, Shameen. Very good job, Umme Sakina. Very good job. I am very, very proud of all of you who have finished their test. Please try to finish the assignments on time so that we can move on to the next. We can take the next step, inshallah. Okay, so I'm going to send the next test. Your test is coming on your first concept that we have covered in advanced search, because it is very, very important that you learn those concepts, and those concepts are really are something that have solidified, not just you are wishy-washy about them. Okay, inshallah. So your test is going to be starting this coming Saturday, inshallah. You will be having your first test. Take care.